So the yes guy, Elsha of the Infinite, is currently sitting on an amazing 26.55 average win rate from 57 decks. And that is pretty amazing, but once again, if you look there, chi-square test is not statistically significant, and like 57 decks are just a little bit too few. For example, if we look at Tymna and Crom with a 27.01 from 1431, we just can't compare them. So the takeaway so far is that Elsha has been showcasing some promise, but we will see if she actually keeps that promise up. I don't think she's going to do that, because if you actually look at that minus 2.38, that's how much her win rate have been dropping at the start of this year. So she started strong, and then she's, yeah, I think that she's going to end up in something like 24 or 22 potential win rate in the future. I'm just speculating and guessing. But I thought it would be cool to take a look at what these Elsha decks are actually up to these days in the 2024. So link in the description below of this video to this web page where you can scroll around and look at different Elsha tournament entries. And if you click here, you will sort by the most recent. This is the most recent. If you click here, you will sort by highest win rate. Let's go with the most recent. So we have one here with 2 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw. So we're playing Teferi, Displacer Kitten, and I guess we're going to have like Mox Opal and Mox Amber, because this is a very artifact oriented deck. Yes, Mox Opal, and I don't think we have a Mox Amber. You don't need to, you're fine without it, you can include it. It's kind of safe to not include it, considering you have to have your commander in play for Mox Amber to actually do anything. But we do have some statistics on those card choices, kinda. So we have Displacer Kitten, Dockside, Teferi, and that seems to be doing kinda good. We have a 25.06 average win rate from 352 tournament entries. So the sample size here is quite enormous. We have Trinket Mage to find the Sensei's Divining Top. This player actually plays Magda and Niv-Mizzet Parun. That's kinda cool. By the way, Displacer Kitten kinda feels like an very good consideration, because with Dockside and Displacer Kitten and Elsha, yeah, you can storm through your deck pretty efficiently. And you don't even need actual Dockside to make this good, because with Displacer Kitten and only Elsha, and let's say a Fellwar Stone and Mana Crypt, let's say that's the only thing you kinda have. If you cast a non-creature spell, like an artifact from the top of your library with Elsha, you may flicker your Mana Crypt and untap your Mana Crypt. So it's kind of producing that very good Paradox Engine variant with Elsha. And if you have a Dockside, you cast your Mox Opal from the top of your library, and you flicker Dockside and more treasures, and yeah, you can continue just digging through your deck in this kind of manner. So yeah, Displacer Kitten feels like I'm just guessing auto-include. We will see if we see it in more other deck lists of Elsha looking continuously throughout this video. And then of course we have the Underworld Breach, we have the Lion's Eye Diamond somewhere, there it is, and we have the Brain Freeze and Savine's Reclamation and Intuition, yes. This deck is also playing the Spell Seeker, Final Fortune and Ephemerate, and Mystical Tutor is going to be here there it is, Mystical Tutor. With this you can basically create a one card combo where Spellseeker basically assembles the entire Underworld Breach package. The only thing you need is Spellseeker. I kinda like that combo, I like one card combos. Let's look at the most recent one, this one. Now we're playing Narset, Parter of Veils. We're playing a little bit less creatures. We're still playing Dockside and Displacer Kitten. We're also playing Spellseeker, and in that case, I'm just gonna guess that we do have an Ephemerate, yes. And we do have a Final Fortune, so we do have that one card Spellseeker combo. We don't have the Trinket Mage to find that Sensei's Divining Top. Dragon's Rage Channeler, I guess that is kinda good actually for Elsha of the Infinite. Now normally when I look at Dragon's Rage Channeler for like other commanders like Tymna Crom, it's usually not recommended, but I could see it being good here because you're more tweaked towards having a control of your top deck. So with Dragon's Rage Channeler you can control that a little bit more and make sure that you're avoiding your lands to make sure that you're digging through your deck more efficiently with this combination right here. Blind Obedience, Counterbalance. I don't think Counterbalance is good, but apparently it's more or less an auto-include for all Elsha decks. apparently. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. Personally, like my player experience is telling me that this is rarely doing anything except having a like psychological effect on your opponents. Whenever I play it, it basically does nothing. Might just be me and my bad luck. Usually when I look at it in other decks, in other commanders, it doesn't seem to be performing good. On the other hand, Elsha is once again more controlly towards the top deck, so she might be able to look at the top deck and not reveal things unnecessary. Now once again, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think that the overall win rate for Elsha is going to drop, so we will see in the future. I just thought that, why not look at it while we're at it? But we have Blind Obedience, Smothering Tide, The Wandering, 28 lands. Let's get back here. So we were looking at the most recent, but we can do one more cool thing. We can look at players and sort them by players. And we can notice that there's a few players that have been kind of heavily going into various tournaments. For example, this Basher Ali? Compared to like this Alex who's only entered once. So this Basher guy probably knows, let's just speculate that a person that have entered into more tournaments with the same commander have experienced that commander more. And if you also look at this individual player's performance, very good win rate, good win rate, good win rate, pretty good still. So he has lost one, this is a loss. In general, this guy Basher Ally seems to be doing pretty good in general. So let's take a look at his version. This is an older build with... Wait, we are only playing 2 creatures. This might be before Displacer Kitten existed, but we are playing Tesseret, Teferi, Bribery. Well, yeah, that's actually kind of good. I mean, you can find Docksides with that. Bribery is definitely a card more decks should potentially consider, just because of how good Dockside currently is. And sometimes you need like a Fastest Oracle or a... Let's say you're desperate in need of an opposition agent or a Orcish Bowmaster. Yeah, this feels like an older build, Aetherflux Reservoir. I think he's deviated away from this. If we actually look at one of his more recent builds, if we go by most recent and we scroll down until we find Basher, he hasn't been playing for a while. He's kinda magic. He didn't participate really in this one. 0 wins, 0 losses. So this is the first one he actually... This is the most recent one he pops up in. It's the same build again, more or less. This actually brings up a very good example of how you should be like evaluating deck lists from this place. You should try to always look at the more recent ones, but you should try to look at players that have been performing really good that have also recently entered into tournaments with that thing. So let's find some other person that have played a lot of games, like this Dallas. And if we scroll down until we find the Dallas, we have him here on a 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 33 average win rate. This is more or less the same like the other person. So we're seeing something like a, I'm gonna guess, an update tweak towards Elsha basically. So we're playing Dragon's Rage, Darkside, Birgi, Tesseret, Teferi. Very low on that creature count. We don't have an Aetherflux Reservoir this time, but a very different take compared to the most recent build. You know what? Let's do this. Let's take a look at some of the most top decks most recently performed. And let's just compare. Yeah, this is similar to what we saw. We have this Pamuji. This is a very recent Elsha build, and it's still very low on creatures. We only have Dockside and we have Birgi. We don't have much... Oh, we have Ragavan, sure. And then we have this Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. We don't have the Spellseeker combo in here. We don't have the Displacer Kitten. Unwinding Clock. Counterbalance, Dress Down, Mystic Remora, Heuristic Study, Smothering Tide, Undual Breach. Let's take a look at this deck list. Here we have added Displacer Kitten, basically. So Birgi and Dockside have always kind of been there, and Birgi is great because that's another Sensei top infinite variation for you. And then we have Dragon's Rage Channeler. So this guy did add Displacer Kitten compared to the others that were only on this Birgi and Dockside and Dragon's Rage Channeler. But he's not playing the Spellseeker combo, nor is he playing Trinket Mage. Dance Battle? When Dance Battle enters the battlefield, create a token that's a copy of target non-creature. When Dance Battle leaves the battlefield, exile the token. When the token leaves the battlefield, sacrifice Dance Battle. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice dance battle unless you pay. Oh, it's basically a very bad clone. Or bad and bad. Yeah, it's a bad clone. You need to pay mana for it. I think Flesh Duplicate might be better than this one. Especially also that Flesh Duplicate is not an enchantment. It's easier to actually counterspell. Flesh Duplicate is a creature, so it goes past Swan Songs and Force of Negations. This one don't. And this will also feed your opponent's dockside. So I don't think this is a good card. Oh wait, on the other hand, you can actually cast this from the top of your library with Elsha. That is a difference. So I can see that this is being... No, yeah, this is Dance of the Many. Sorry. This is a reprint of a very old card. But I'm still just surprised to see it. So there are a lot of different ways you can build, or well, not a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different creatures to basically consider that will make different Elsha builds a little bit more unique compared to each other. There's one very specific slide I would like to showcase, by the way, to you guys. I got a question from someone: what if you play the Underworld Breach packet but you exclude the very expensive money-wise Lion's Eye Diamond and you play Lotus Petal instead? Like, Lotus Petal does the same thing like Lion's Eye Diamond. If you have that and Brain Freeze and Underworld Breach together, you win the game. And the person wanted to know, like, how much is that going to hurt your potential win rate? And the answer is yes, it's going to decrease it a tiny bit, but still it's going to be kinda fine. So what we have here is we're including Brain Freeze, Lotus Petal, Sevin's Reclamation, Underworld Breach, and we're excluding Lion's Eye Diamond because of money reasons. But the combo is still performing good, even though you have made it cheaper and made it into something of a budget version. So if you wanna build Elsha and you wanna play the Underworld Breach stuff but you can't afford Lion's Eye Diamond, it still seems to be okay to go for it. You will have a little bit of a weaker version, but it still seems to be good. Now I decided to also take a look at this combination. Here we have the Brain Freeze, Ephemerate, Final Fortune, Spellseeker and Underworld Breach. We did talk and look into that a little bit inside this video. Now from the 57 decks, we have only 9 decks total from all of those Elsha that are playing all of these 5 cards together. But the win rate is 31.25, but once again I do believe that the win rate is going to drop over time as 57 decks are just too few. But you have to look at things in bigger perspective. Look at this. Now we're looking at a total 15,445 different deck options, tournament entries, and this is from my total collection of all the tournaments so far that I've gathered, so to say. And we have 102 decks that are playing all of these 5 cards but excluding that ad nauseum. And suddenly the win rate is drastically dropping down to red in 21.02. So the indication might be that this is not that good of a combo. So once again, if you look here, it looks amazing, but once you're starting to add more data to it, it doesn't look that great anymore. And that is basically taking us back to that I don't think that Elsha of the Infinite is going to keep this promising win rate, and as you can see there, minus 2.38, it is dropping a tiny bit over time, or it has been dropping so far. But we will see where things lead. I hope this video have been giving you some inspiration and some insight about Elsha in 2024 in general, how she operates and looks like currently. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any comments or questions or feedback, please leave those in the comments below and I would gladly take a look at them and try to answer them if I can. Take care guys, and I see you in the next video.